So we open with the Fane heifer starting another charity and Agnes calling her a glutton for punishment. However, Gladys got her chaperone sneaking her out to see Archie Bunker. He's from a good Mayflower family. Although I'm with the governess, if everybody claimed to be on the Mayflower, that would have to be a big-ass boat. One of the young butlers is asking one of the young maids out to a Broadway show. However, over with the Russells, we find there's some bull going on with the bill he just had passed. So he meet with the alderman and he's like, y'all have reneged. He said, I see what you doing. You running people's pockets with the Ponzi scheme scam, going sell the short stock and then buy it short. I know your game, heifer. Good day to you, Mr. Russell. Good day to you, Mr. Morris. Yeah, he gonna get your ass. But at a Red Cross meeting, Aunt Ada meets an old friend. Miss Morris is telling the girls that Mr. Morris was insulted by Mr. Russell, but girl, your husband is a crook, and he about to get what he got coming to him. So he tell Bertha, look, these people trying to run our pockets, but if we make a big gamble, we might win everything back. But if we put a large part of our capital at risk, we could make this money back. And Bertha said, look, you've made money before, you'll make more money once more. I trust you. However, back at the Heasy, Agnes is mad that her son is dining with the Russells. He said, well, you know what, Rhinoceros, you strong, so you can take a good stabbing. He said, well, you know what, you're a rhinoceros, so you've got thick enough skin to deal with it. And honestly, you need to be happy he's over there making friends and he ain't as dry and closed up as you, because how you think he gonna make money in business with no friends? Oh, Marion gets a lady from Mr. Rake saying he got the job. Ada's like, look, you can't be friends with him. And she's like, he's been a total gentleman. Yes, he'd be a good friend. I'd be lucky to have him. He is an adventurer, and I am never wrong. Okay, well, sometimes adventurers are successful. Oh, my God. Okay, I love how Oscar is in bed with his man while Bertha in bed with her man. But he talking about, I met the girl I want to marry. Honey, you in bed with a whole man. I don't know how that's going to work. He's like, she got a lot of money. She's innocent, so she ain't going to suspect. But you knew we would have to go on and get married because of these times. I mean, I guess they got a point. I thought you could just be a confirmed bachelor back then. His friend is like, what about us? He's like, I don't know. I could take to her like a duck to water. You know, I'm joking. I'll still love you. However, the next morning, they done canceled this loss, so he tells his assistant to buy all the company stock available. Marion go by to visit the lawyer at his job. He invites her to go see the Statue of Liberty's hand in Madison Square Park, and she's like, I don't know. I'll catch up with you next Monday. Over with Peggy, she getting a story put in print. I love how the cook told the racist maid, don't spoil it. So Peggy's father finally drops by. He wants her to come home for her mother's birthday, and she's like, I don't know. So we have those servants go to the Broadway show, and after he's trying to get her to go for coffee, and she's like, I agreed to a show, and they said we've got to be back at 10, so let's get back in. Across town, Oscar's telling his man that the perfect girl isn't so perfect anymore, now that her pappy may be poor. Lord, over with Peggy, she trying to get her story published and shows up, and they're shocked she's black. But now Miss Morris over at Bertha House begging and pleading, could you tell your husband to stop making my husband broke? See, you thought it was a joke. Now your husband is broke. You may need to take a toke. You're no longer rich folk. She said, I need a little pity, a little mercy. And she said, well, look, let me tell you something about life. Life is like a bank. And if you want to write a check first, you had to make a deposit. You didn't deposit anything into my ass, so I ain't got a check for you. However, back with Peggy, Mr. Carlton does see her. However, they want her to change her main character from black to white so that they could identify with it. He said, basically, you'd have to sell us your stories and we'd pretend a white woman wrote them. Probably find a white woman to give her credit while you would remain in the shadows. So she's like, nah, I ain't gonna be able to do that. However, Peggy and Marion meet Mr. Rakes at the Hand of Liberty. Oh, so Mr. Rakes is like, look, I think I want to be with you, heifer, and I want to tell your aunts. Oh, goodness, where is this for me? Where's my lawyer? He said, I fell in love with you when we met. I've known from jump. That's what I want. A man that's known from jump. So we got Mr. Eckhart coming by to call on Ada. Fortunately, Agnes remembers, oh, you was trying to marry up Mary well. Well, you can marry Ada, but she ain't gonna have shit. She ain't living here. So you want to marry her, you better have a house and money for a spouse, because you're looking like a louse. Girl! So once he find out she ain't got shit, he's saying, I'm late for an appointment. I gotta run. I'm glad Agnes was looking out for Ada on that one. Back downtown with the business people, Mr. Russell's letting the alderman know, yeah, I punked you. Girl, we see the one alderman off himself after that meeting. I guess he said, since I ain't got no money, ain't no point in being here no more. And here I was thinking people didn't start offing themselves till 1929. And that was the shit, so I'ma see you soon. So we open with Mr. Fane's funeral. Or is that Mr. Morris? However, at the house, he knows he's gonna get blamed for Morris's offing himself, but Bertha's already worried about Gladys's new governess, because apparently Turner had lost control. Over with Peggy and Mary, and Peggy got a job writing. Peggy's found a job writing at the Globe, but Marion's still not sure about that proposal. So they're shopping and they see Miss Chamberlain, and Miss Chamberlain apparently had their kid out of wedlock. So they don't want Marion talking to her. Mr. Ruffle drops by Mr. Fane's and tells him he's sorry about Mr. Morris. Oh, Lord, now the dog done disappeared. Actually, I've had him off leash and he's got pretty good recall. He likes to be near me. He knows who feeds that butt. You know I like to feed that butt. Ada freaking out, and honey, I gotta hold him. The thought of losing him, I would freak out too. Oh my goodness, and he's just so cute. So cute, I'm afraid somebody would want to keep him for themselves. And he's such a good dog. Lord, so we got the servant trying to ask the maid out, and she's really not interested. But over with Bertha, she got Miss Grant on the hot seat because Grant took her out to meet that boy at the hotel. So with Miss Fane and Mr. Fane tells Miss Fane, look, you're going to have to bring Miss Russell into society. Mr. Russell's sick of her being left out. And if we're going to recover financially, we're going to need his help and clout. Out while Glennis is saying goodbye to her governess, they see the lost dog. However, Miss Scott goes over to have her meeting with Mr. Fortune, and it's already going well. He knows she's the writer. He asked her for a 200-word story on voting rights without a party, or having a party without voting rights because women couldn't vote then. Oh, back at the Heezy, they get a note saying they found the dog. But of course, Agnes said Miss Russell's kidnapped the dog to deliver it in person to get up in her house. Her house is nicer than yours. Don't nobody want to be up in your house with your dry-ass food. She wants us to force her to receive her. They both volunteer to hop over, but you know Agnes is like, The way she growled, no. So Bannister goes to deliver the dog, and he walks around and gets to know they servants and how they do things. So we find out Ada and Miss Fane are going to a music thing at the academy. However, Miss Marion gets a gift. Oh, goodness, it's that big old jewelry box that Miss Chamberlain was looking at. Oh, she said, I ain't telling y'all who sent it. I'm going to just send it back. I ain't going to hear your Chamberlain crap. That night, Marion tells Ada that the gift is for Miss Chamberlain, and she's like, no. So she drops by Mrs. Chamberlain's, and the heifer shows her her art. However, Miss Fane drops by Bertha's. So Fane says, look, I'm going to get you in with her best sissy, Ward McAllister. See, let me show y'all something. Why is it this dark? It never needs to be this dark, ever. Oh, okay. I was wondering what was going on, why it was so dark. We see Turner and slipped into Mr. Russell's chambers. Girl, he is turning her down. To be turned down with your tits out, ooh, that's embarrassing. That is a new level of embarrassing. Turned down, tits out. Over with the rich black people in Brooklyn, Peggy's having a dinner with her family. So her father is not supportive of her writing at all. He got a pharmacy he want to leave her. Girl, Maggie get there, for Marion get there, and she looking around at that house, and she's like, dang, yeah, it just looks just like yours. Girl, Marion brought her some old shoes thinking she was gonna need them, not knowing they rich too. A true first meeting faux pas. Peggy is pissed that she dropped by unannounced, and she's like, look, you don't know what it is to be Black. You live in a different country, in a different world than I do. I work for your aunt. Stop thinking you're really my friend. Ooh. Over at Bertha's, she got on a big red dress. So we're in the box at the opera and enjoying ourselves. Marion there. Is that Mr. Rakes? Girl, he's there trying to be suitable for you. So you can see Marion is starting to like him, but she's like, look, if you don't get my aunt's permission, it ain't gonna happen. All right, and that was the shit. Oh, and we only have 9 more to go. We only have 9 episodes. So we've got 5 more to go. This is fun.